Hi, Michael Lance up at Calico Basin, and came up here today to just pour my heart out with some things I've been thinking and dealing with, and wanted to share them with you. And for as long as I remember, I had the voices telling me, don't do it, stop, you're not good enough, do it my way. All of the fears that people had, they throw at me, and I held on to them. And I had discord with that. I never felt like there was just friction. I never felt like I went where I wanted to go or what I could do, and because I had to follow norms. And I started to believe those voices and that those norms were who I really was, and yet there was just friction there. And it's like, I like to think about it as light. I love light, and I believe that we all are light. We all shine a light. Just as the sun lightens the earth, it gives us sunshine, and the sun absolutely fuels the earth. The earth would cease to exist. It would be a cold state if it wasn't for the sun. And even when we're on the other side of the earth where we can't see the sun, then you have the stars, you have the big bright moon, still a reflection of that sun. And the stars, I believe, are all these other suns, and it gives us a light that even rules the night. And so I am so I believe so much in this concept of the sun and that the light. And I believe that it's through the light that gives me my voice, that tells me my purpose. I just need to follow the light. In years past, I've had items that got in the way of the sun. The light is so important to me, and the opposite of that is darkness. And I believe that the light just talks to me and directs my path. And all of the voices that I always heard would be the dark, is how I looked at it, because it wasn't leading me to my light in times where the darkness wasn't around, and I could get in contact with my thoughts and the light, if you will, and I would just be full of inspiration, creative ideas. And then a voice would pop up and tell me, no, don't do it today, do it tomorrow. And oftentimes I would listen to that voice. Thankfully, most of the time I did. And then years ago, when I practiced as a CPA and the science of accounting, if you will, the income tax laws, it's just like a rigid set of rules and a box. And I worked in an office where I was in, four walls, a shut door, a computer screen in front of me all day long, and it wore on me. I was a CPA. I worked hard. I had great clients that I served, very many entrepreneurs that I am so appreciative of these men and women who stepped out and did the risky thing, and yet still I had a voice inside of me, this light, and I wasn't letting it through me to shine, and it ate at me. I didn't like going to work anymore. I had that Monday morning or the Sunday morning knot. Maybe you've experienced that before. I've experienced that other times in my life. And for like the last 10 years I practiced as a CPA, it's hard because the light wasn't shining through me and out. I knew that I had a greater purpose. I wanted to serve other people. That's where the light shed more warmth on me, and I knew that was the right place to go. And I wanted to make an impact on people, not just counting their money and saving them income tax and things like that. They were appreciative, and yet most of the people that came and saw me, where I connected to them, was just in like interview. I'd see them once or twice a year, do their tax return, and they would come in and they would always plop their records, the paper, on the table, and we would start talking. And I would shove the papers to the side and say, tell me what went on last year in your life. And we would share about our families and vacations and life and their passions. And that's what I love the most. And yet they would leave, and I'd take all these papers, and all I felt like I was doing was transferring a number off of one piece of paper into the computer. The computer would gyrate it and kick out another piece of paper, and these entrepreneurs would send that piece of paper in, and I thought to myself, how uncreative is that? That these entrepreneurs, if they had the money they were paying me and to use in their businesses, they could bless a lot more lives. And that was my wake-up call. That's when the light just testified to me that you got to get out. You got to do something else. You have to be that entrepreneur. You have to follow that light and to serve others and to follow my own passion and things. And I was so passionate about health. I've always been passionate about health. I am a geek. I can't get enough about how the human body works. I've always been a bookworm. I can't get enough of that. And I knew that I wanted health. And when I finally left the CPA firm, the light started to shine. Was I scared? Way scared. It was something brand new. It's always fearful for me when I have to follow the light. The light is through me, and I'm letting it shine in front of me one step after another. I don't really have to think the path that I'm going to take from where I see where I want to go to the end result. I just let the light shine a little bit ahead of me, and I keep putting one foot in front of another. And that was the beautiful thing for me when I left the practice of being a CPA. And I was grateful for those years as a CPA. Met a lot of great people. I learned a lot. I learned to follow the light. I had to go through that journey, if you will, to do that. It wasn't about money, although money's way important to me, and it's not so much the actual amount of dollars that's important to me, but it's what money represents to me. It's twofold. If I have money, it's because I've gave value that exchanged for money, and I haven't used all of the value I delivered, so I have some extra. And yet it's through the exchange of money, if you will, I'm exchanging my light for someone else's light. And that's just this beautiful concept. And yet when my light, money, goes down, I get anxiety. I won't lie to you. It's important to me to have extra light, if you will. It would be just like going on a hike at night, and you would and there's no moonlight, so it's just really dark. Stars aren't out. You'd take a flashlight and you'd shove some extra batteries in that bad boy. You would want the extra light so that you could see where you're going to find sustenance, to find perhaps food, water, the things that we obviously need in our body for health. And so for me, having extra light, money, is way important. I think it is for other people. I think the more light I have, the more freedom I have. I believe that we were all wired to be free, to follow the light, if you will. And the way I look at it, there's nothing in front of me. When I got light, it's only when people's fears, they cast them on me. It's only when there's walls. A lot of the walls we create ourselves. A lot of the walls are created by the fears of other. But when you're out where there's free sailing, where there's just light, it doesn't matter if there's walls. The light will show you how to get past it. It doesn't matter if there's challenges. I think the light teaches us challenges. I believe the light is there for us. I believe that challenges give the light purpose. And when I discovered that, it was just the most awesome things. I wasn't fearful anymore. Scared, yes. Fearful, no. There's a big difference. I found joy in the light. I found joy when I was able to follow what my purpose is. And it, for me, I just want everyone to be healthy. And I want everyone to have a lot of light, a lot of money, if you call it that, but it's your bliss. It's following what your purpose is. That is my whole passion in life. If I could just be geeky with somebody about their health, I would do it. I love teaching them about all aspects of how to generate health. And most people, as I work with them, there's some light that's being blocked or has been blocked. And yet I believe that when we're brought together, their light has shined through them enough to illuminate me. I am so grateful for that, because my light is illuminating them. And when we get together and we can just exchange, that's where I'm able to help them, teach them. Well, I don't teach anybody. I let the light teach them. I'm just presenting concepts so that the light could illuminate the truth for them, and they become aware, and it's okay, I got it. And the same with me. All the people that's coming into my life, I view them as light, and that they've got a funnel of light that they receive, and they're casting out to me, and I learn from them. I have learned so much as my light illuminates them and I see a different person. It's just great. We all are light. How do I want to say that? We are all light. We are all energy. We are all driven by that light. I believe the Creator gave us that light. I believe that the light is the Creator directing us. The only thing that I could give the light, it's given me everything. Look, the earth. The earth is warm. The earth grows. The earth is the energy we receive from the earth. It all comes from the sun. That's been proven. So our Creator, in creating the light, the sun that shines the light to the earth, and then we get the earth to us, all transference of that energy is through the sunshine, the light. And why would I want to block the light? Why would I want to block the sunshine? I don't want to get in the way of that. And yet, I did. Why? For me, because I listened to the fears of others. They casted this on me. And when I discovered that I was blocking the light, I was not allowing it to flow through me and to teach me, to warm me, to make me feel good, to make me healthy, was one of the greatest days of my life. It took me 50 plus years to discover that, and I'm so grateful. The light never gave up on me, ever. Every day I lived, sunshine hit me. It was there for me. The light was there for me, and yet I never let it shine through, only bits and pieces of rays, but now it's just massive. And I am so grateful for, and now it's interesting when people cast their fears on me. In other words, they're casting their darkness on me, and that's their prism, just like it was for me for years. When I lived in this four-walled, I'm blocking the light from me, I casted that on others. I believe that that's what the darkness wants us to do. The darkness doesn't want us to see the light. It's going to do everything in its power. And these things are so subtle. Most people don't even know that they're blocking the light. Most people think that the station that they're in right now is real, that they created it. And that's not true. Only the light creates who you really are. Only the light illuminates who you really are. Nothing else does. Dark doesn't. What is darkness? It's the absence of light. We know that through physics. And so when I learned what was blocking my light, and I then discovered when it flowed through and I could feel it, that's what being aware is all about. It's just feeling the light, feeling the warmth, the illumination of truth, knowing that you see truth, you see other people as light. They are no different than you are. It's beautiful. And now when people cast their fears on me, or governments, rules and regulations, that's what I got out of accounting for. It was me turning away from all of that so I could see more light. There's nothing wrong with the profession of being an accountant or a CPA. I shed a lot of my good light during those years, and yet it wasn't the massive light that I knew was inside of me that I needed to follow. And so now when people cast their fears on me, boom. And the biggest fear that people cast is through shame. It's the emotion of shame. Shame is total darkness. Shame is listening to the voice that I'm not good enough. Shame is a concept to where if people turn from you, you must think I must be a bad person. See, that's the darkness. That's what shame does, and shame turns us away from the light. I gotta hide. I'm ashamed of being around maybe someone with light. Oh, they're gonna not see me as a good person. And you see, that's what shame does. It just completely blocks the light. And when you can self-love, unconditional self-love, unconditionally let the light come to you, illuminate not only your strengths, but your weaknesses. Do I have weaknesses? More than I care to admit, but I have a ton of them. And my weaknesses at times, when they manifest themselves, not only do I hurt myself, unfortunately, I hurt others. And yet that's where the light can repair. The light can heal. The light is healing. The light is so awesome when it heals. And so I'm a shame warrior. Yes, I'm the wellness warrior. Wellness is a great concept. I'll talk about it in a sec here. But the light, I am the wellness warrior, but I'm also like my shame. I have a shame meter. I have a darkness meter. I have an anti-light meter. And when it ever hits me, it's like ding, 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 and I just shove it away. I can stand up for myself now. When someone tries to throw their self-imposed fears on me, most of the time they don't even know they're doing it. That's what's so unusual. And through my compassion, I recognize that. And yet when someone is being purposeful to throw shame at me, to bring me down to their lesser light level, that's when I get bold. That's when I stick my chest out, and I think a kind, loving way, but it's bold. I won't let somebody shame me. I won't let somebody shame my family, my friends, those that I'm trying to help. No way. And I believe that that's part of my purpose in life. That's a healthy thing. That is a wellness thing. I love wellness. Wellness to me has such broad meaning. Wellness is health. I think that's the normal dictionary definition of wellness. Yet to me, it's broader than that. Wellness, to me, is being a receptacle of the light in its full fashion. Wellness is the ability to heal the body, and I'm geeky about that. I love everything about how cells work, how glucose works, gluconeogenesis. Go look that word up. It's a phenomenal thing that the liver does. I get all that, and you see now, when I turn to the light, asking to improve my health that I thought was pretty high, but I had some non-health issues. I had some issues where my health was deteriorating up there, and I turned to the light and asked. I just asked. That's the beauty of the light too. If I ask for anything in the name of the light, I'm promised He will give it to me. Anything that I want, if I can visualize it here and ask, it's like a form of prayer. Prayer, the word prayer means to ask and to request. So prayer is good. Prayer is asking, and then the light can give you all that you need, just like the light gives the earth all that it needs. If I plant a seed in the soil, it just grows. I didn't do that. That seed is fulfilling the measure of its creation. And in order to do that, it needs light. Obviously, it needs the soil, the minerals. That's where the earth comes into play. It needs moisture. The rain is a function of light. Just like me, I am a seed. I'm a seed of my parents, of their union, and I was birthed. So now I am fulfilling the measure of my creation. See, that's wellness. That is total, unadulterated wellness. Wellness is totally physical health. There is no doubt about it. It's really, though, the manifestation of all of your dreams. Freedom. Freedom is wellness. Freedom is created with money. I throw that word out there only because it's an easy way to kind of describe that. But as I said, money isn't the green cash, I got to have a lot to buy my fancy cars. And a lot of people figure out how to create money, but they don't have the light. They don't have the light that they could have, I believe. And so I want, through wellness, is to use health in a lot of ways, and through just my light shining, to try to help them understand that they can have anything they want in life. There was a time in my CPA world that I practiced as a wealth advisor, and people came in for me to really protect their future dreams. And many of them, we had to do some dreaming together. I had to ask questions as they dreamed, and I would capture these dreams, and that's really what they wanted to move toward. And as a wealth advisor, my job was to figure out what the gap was, and to give them ideas to add money, to add investments and things. And the reality is that is so finite. Money is so finite if you just look at money for money's sake. There's only so much of it. And the beauty is when we create money, oftentimes it's through the creation of something that is not there, only in our mind, and through the light, through understanding, through us following the light, through our purpose, we create something that wasn't there before. I used to, when I started to understand these things, kind of toward the end of my CPA career, when the light was starting to testify to me, although I didn't have the courage at the time to move out, but I would create these little balance sheets, and I would put my real assets, and then I would put down at the very bottom the amount of money, if you will, that would create total freedom for me to be able to manifest and be able to serve others in a big capacity, charities, if you will, but really just to help my family. And then the gap in between. So if, let's say that I had, like, my number down here was always about $20 million. And the most of the actual tangible stuff I ever created was about 7 million, and the '09 economy crushed that. But if, let's say it was at 7 million, I wanted 20 million, the gap of 13 million, I would put in there a statement that that's my wealth that's out there. I just had to go get it. And even as rudimentary as that was, it was a true concept. It was a step on my journey where now I would never even place it on this balance sheet idea. I would place it more of understanding that if I can get out of the way, if I can get rid of the darkness that blocks me, that blocks the light from testifying to me, I know if I can see it here, ask in the name of the Son, they will give it to me. The S-O-N, Son, not the S-U-N. Yes, I'm a believer. I believe that God exists. I believe that He created the heavens and the earth. I believe that Christ was His firstborn Son that came to this earth. He actually created the earth. And the light emanates from Father. The light is also the Son. And so when I said that when you ask in the name of the Son, S-O-N, but you can ask in any name of the light, if you will. It doesn't really matter what your belief is. The concept of light is true. The concept of energy is true. We are just all energy beings. I'm not a New Ager, although I conceptualize people this way because it allows me to love them unconditionally. And so now I recognize that the important thing for me is just to get out of the way of the sun. Get rid of the darkness, get rid of these barriers that create darkness. Some of my barriers for years was pretty thick, and I was in this little shell, and I didn't even recognize that the food I was putting in my body was the light keeping me alive. The light, and that's the other concept. Oftentimes I had so much pride, I thought I was doing everything. No, I'm working, I'm gathering the food, I'm buying the groceries, I'm buying the big house, I'm buying the cars, vacations, and all that. That was pride. That was the light giving it to me. Even in the darkest of my darkest days, where I lived through the fears of others, I had them myself, I hurt, I was scared. Even in those darkest days, the light sustained me. The light knew that when I finally made the choice to turn toward the light, it would be there for me. The light is always there for us. It never leaves us. It's inside of us. It has to be. Think about the concept of the sun hitting the earth and giving the earth life, giving the earth the ability to grow plants. The animals eat plants, we eat the plants, we eat animals. We feel good when we see beautiful nature like these red rocks that I'm up here today. It sustains. And the earth doesn't do anything other than it's just a being, and the light takes care of that just like it does us. And I recognize that I owe everything to the light. There's nothing that I can give the light that it hasn't already given me, except one thing: my will. My will saying, I'm going to turn to the light and allow you to hold my hand and guide me, and I will follow you. That's the only thing that we have, that we own, that the light doesn't own, but it wants us to give it to it. And when we're in that darkness state, when I was in that darkness state, when I was allowing these fears of others to control my life. And I used to think that all of my thoughts were mine. Wrong. It's just beautiful to break through that. And when I learned that, my service level to others magnified immensely. I don't care about money. I don't care about being getting accolades and rewards and honors and all that stuff. That just bugs me, because I am a beggar like everybody. And the only reason that I may have created a certain level of money, if you will, is because I let the light give it to me. But I first had to do my part for the light to do its part. That's the law of compensation. I can't get what I want in life unless I first give it to somebody else. And what I get in life after I give it to someone else is all I'm doing is taking the light and giving it to somebody else. And they're blessed by that light. And then the light takes care of me. In return, they share things with me, and it's the exchange of money. Obviously, that's the beautiful part. That person had to do something with its light to earn money, and then I'm exchanging my light for this. And what the light does is exchanges. I'm hopeful. I'm allowing the light to give them way more value than they're giving me. See, that's the beautiful thing about the law of compensation, is when we can give more, we just pour ourselves out. It's not an amount about, oh, the guy is gonna cheat me, and it doesn't matter. All I want to do is to allow the light to go through me and bless another human being. And it's really the light. It's not me, it's the light that's blessing him. I'm just a reciprocal. And when I get out of the way of that process, things are awesome. And that's really all I want to do, is to help people with health. I've been blessed with health so immensely. And when I was looking, 2006, was on the hills in 1999 of my dad dying. My dad died of cancer, lung cancer. They claim it's the kind that caused by smoking. My dad had quit smoking 10 years earlier than when he contracted cancer. So I don't really know if the smoking caused my dad's cancer. My dad also, earlier in like a year or two before he died, he had overcame prostate cancer. My dad was obese, very obese. And now that I understand how the body works, my dad didn't help that process by what he ate. And, you know, amidst all that, when Dad died, I got to move, my butt hurts. The thing that I remember most, that I feel the most in reviewing that situation on my dad dying, and I think it's where I get my health from, is Dad had the diagnosis from doc that you have 3 to 6 months to live. He died about 2 months after that. And I got to know my dad more then. My dad wasn't a connector. My dad never really connected to me or my brother or sister in my mind. My dad had a lot of darkness. My dad never let the light shine through him. He was a good person. He obviously went to work every day, had a roof over our head, and that's what he always thought the important thing was, that I kind of owed Dad something because, you know, he just did what he was supposed to do. And so I never really connected with my dad. I never got kudos unless I followed what my dad wanted. In other words, my dad had fears that the only way that he was going to affirm me is if I followed what he thought life was about. And yet when Dad was on his deathbed, and I'd go over and visit him every day, and it was the only time in my life that my dad said that he loved me. Only time that I remember hearing it. And probably the only time I told him too. But the thing that frightened me the most was Dad lost hope. I have dwelt on that for so long. I could see the huge disappointment. My dad felt betrayed by companies that he bought stuff from. He was so mad at cigarette companies. He never badmouthed the food companies, but they probably contributed as much to his death as the cigarettes did. But when he lost hope, gosh, and I witnessed in his eyes that look in a person's eyes when they've lost all hope. Didn't want to live anymore. He said, Mom's gonna be taken care of, and he said, you take care of Mom, and he says, I wish God would take me right now. He didn't want to live anymore. I'll never forget that conversation with him, ever, as long as I live. And after he passed, I dwelled on that a lot, and I vowed I was never gonna live a life where I didn't have the health to be able to make choices. And the way I conceptualize that now, I'm never gonna live a life where the light stops. I mean, the light could still hit Dad, but he couldn't. It never would pass through him with his poor health. And that's when I said, I'm not going to do this. And that's when I took my anal study geeky self, because like I said, I've always been an avid reader, and I turned to figure out how do I develop health. And I've been on a mission since 2006 and trying to figure this out. And so once I figured it out, once I did a lot of research on the internet about the cause of poor health, and I started to ask questions, I knew I needed to get back into shape. I was a college athlete. I was a pretty good athlete. And there again, I actually, I played in junior college. I played football and basketball. So I'd always been in shape. And man, over those years, I bloomed. I was 254 pounds, tired, eating like crud, no energy at all. That, I said, I got to do something. And my dad, that just kept echoing. So in 2006, finally, I'm a slow learner of the light, at least I was then. And then I started to research, and my light's through me now. And it touches a person who was looking for me. That person shared their light with me. I went to a meeting where this gentleman who is now my friend shared his light with me. And because the light had already testified to me of what I needed to do, it was the solution. Bam! I put that product in my body, Isagenix. The weight came off, my energy level shot through the roof, I was optimistic. The light just started to shine, I started to get more light. Started to ask questions about more things that I wanted to do. I had on my vision board a picture of what I wanted to look like. And little did I know, it was a picture of Mark Allen, 6-time Ironman world champion. I didn't even know what the Ironman was. I was scrolling through, and he was a triathlete, and I had to learn what a triathlete was. And so when the light healed me, and I got healthy using the light that Isagenix gave me, I wanted to do an Ironman. And 14 months after first putting the Isagenix light in me, I finished my first Ironman at age 50 years old, doing an Ironman. It's crazy. And since then, I've done 15 total. I am so blessed. The light has blessed me so much that I just got to give it back. I am so free physically now. It's unbelievable. I have went through gyrations with light and food and nutrition and how to gain optimum health, I could help, I think, almost anybody. I know how they're looking, and I'm just out looking to help as many people as I can. That's all I want to do. And through that process, the other beautiful thing that I love about Isagenix light is that they also believe the same thing I do about freedom. And they've created this wonderful way to share their light. You're really sharing the light's coming through you, that you get some through Isagenix, you share it with others. And as I said before, I'll get what I want in life, more light, more stored light, if you will, more money, more freedom. I'll get that when I give it to somebody else. When I can take my light and give it to somebody else, and they're blessed more than what they paid me in dollars, then the light is going to take care of the rest for me. And seeing people get healthy, oh my gosh, that just illuminates me more. It makes me more warm. It makes me more passionate about helping people. Seriously. And I wasn't always like that. I only look backwards and share this with whoever's going to listen. That story, I mean, I remember what it felt like to have my walls, to not have the light affect me. I remember that. I think I will always remember it. It's like when I crashed on my bike and I broke my collarbone. Now I got a plate and I think 13 screws in my shoulder here. That hurt like H. I still remember that pain. So that gives me this thought that I don't want to do that anymore. And so I remember the pain of the dark. That dark hurt my family, it hurt others. I get that. I am never going there again. So I do occasionally think about it, but more importantly, I want to use that experience. I want to take the light from that experience and give it to others. Let them see the light. I hope there's something that I said that touched you. Really, I just want you to have your light. I want you to have full health. I want you to have the freedom. That's all I want. And because it's light, I don't own the light. I'm so grateful for the light. That's all I want for you, is to have the exact same thing that I've been able to have. And I want to learn from you. I love having two human beings connect together, because they are, I believe another person, I believe you, if you're listening to this, that you are my master in some way. You have figured, the light has helped you figure something out better than it's helped me, and that I need your light to help me. That's the other beautiful thing. As I am looking, I hope they're looking. And then through the connection of two human beings, through the sharing of light, you have great friendships, love conquers, love is light. I totally believe that. That's what I want. That's what I want for us. That's what I want for all people, that all of us unite together, get rid of the dark, get rid of the caves we crawl in, get rid of the boxes, get rid of all of these things that stop the light to come in. And together, what a force the world would be. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine millions and millions and millions? I mean, the whole world going together. There'd be no war, there would be no pestilence, there would be no disease. It would be awesome. And that's what I believe we can through the light. I love you for being here and listening to this. This is on a Sunday morning that I'm recording this. Maybe I'll let my grandkids listen too. Okay, I think I've said enough.